Hi everyone, welcome back to Charan Bindu Logs. Today I'm going to show you how to deploy sample Python Hello World application in a Docker container. Come, let's get started. First, we need to create a basic Flask application. If you're not familiar with the Flask, it's a lightweight web framework for the Python. Similarly, we have multiple web framework available for the multiple programming language. In the same way, Flask is a one web framework for the Python. Let's start by writing the Flask code. Here I already have the Flask code ready. And in this code, we are first importing the Flask, then creating a Flask application instance and define a root that returns the hello world. In our case, we just added hello world as a message to return. And also we can add the port number where we want our application to run. Next, we need to create the requirements file to specify the dependencies. These dependencies will help the Docker to know what all packages to install. Similarly, if you have the multiple dependencies for the application, you can add all those dependencies here. And now we have Dockerfile ready. And as we know, Dockerfile is a script that contains the series of instructions like on how to build a Docker image for our application. Now I will break down this Dockerfile and explain step by step what is happening exactly inside this Dockerfile. First, from instruction is used to set the base image. Here we are using the Python image since we have the Python application. Similarly, if you have any other application that is in like Java or .NET, you can use a similar, the base image as per your requirement based on your application. Next, work directory instruction. This will sets the working directory in the container. Next, copy instruction. This copy instruction will copy the requirements file into the container. Run instruction. This run instruction will install all the dependencies that mentioned in the requirements.txt file. Next instruction is copy. Again, it copies the rest of the application code which we have into the container. Expose instruction, exposing the port number 80. You can expose to any port number. Next, cmd instruction. This cmd will specify the command to run the application. So this is all about the Dockerfile. Now we have our Dockerfile ready and Flask code ready and requirements.txt file ready. Now we need to build the Docker image. Also, I'm going to add this Flask code, Dockerfile, requirements.txt file and Flask related documentation on my description. You can look into that. Now let's build a Docker image. So we need to open our terminal and navigate to the directory containing your Docker file. I'm just navigating to the directory where our Docker file exists. And now we need to start building the Docker image using the Docker command. And I am going to add all these Docker commands on my description. You can look into that. Docker build -t and name of the Docker image which you want to give it Python. I'm just passing the tag as latest. Along with that, we need to add the path to the Docker file where it exists. Since we have the Docker file present in the current directory, I'm just adding dot. This dot means the Docker file is present in the current directory. Suppose if you have your Docker file present on some other folders or file, you need to add that particular path here. And that's it. Now we have our Docker image ready. Now you can look into that Docker image we just built. It's Python, and here is that image present in Docker desktop. I'm going to explain what this Docker desktop and what are the features of this Docker desktop and everything on my next video. And here it is we have a Docker image and the status is in use, and we can run the container directly from here, or else we can run the container via Docker command. Now let's run a container using the Docker image we just built, and here is the command docker run -, name of the container. I'm just giving yt python and port number. You can pass any port number, exposing to the port number 80 as I mentioned in the Docker file. And also we need to pass the Docker image name, that is yt python along with the tag latest. Now you can see this command runs a container from the Docker image and maps to the port number 80 of the container of your to port number 80 of your local machine. Once the container is running, you can test your application. You can directly test via this IP address. You can just copy this IP address. Once the container is running, you can test here. You can just go to the container, the one we created just now, yt python, and here you can see it is the status is running and image name, and it is exposing to this port number. And if you navigate to this particular port, you should see the hello world displayed on the screen. And that's it. You have successfully deployed a Hello World Flask application in a Docker container. If you found this video useful, please give it thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.